Yes.
Want to talk about today?
Dave, so there's so many things to talk about today. I was in Los Angeles last night for the Capitals and the Kings, and it was Heritage Night, which is a heritage I have no idea about because everything was in Spanish. I hate to say it like that. But I'll tell you what, the Kings, exactly what I saw earlier in the week, they need a goalie. They had Cam Talbot in net. That team is primed, ready to go. They outshot Washington, I believe, by a 3-1 margin. And they originally tied the game with about 8 to 9 minutes left in the third. And it was waved off for an offsides, of course. You know, you got that replay. But they look good. But I will say this, the ice at Staples Center, it looked like they were playing with a ping pong ball. It was just horrible, horrible ice.
Did
It was embarrassing.
the Lakers just play?
You know, I don't know. I think the Kings just came back from a road trip. I don't know if the Lakers or the Clippers played. So the Lakers and Clippers both play at Crypto, which is the former Staples Center.
Yeah.
But it's embarrassing because the last time I was there for a game, it was it was January 10th, 2011. I was on a date with the lookalike of Katie Lang, who you met at LHA, that girl with the short hair. And the Kings had black banners over the Kings, over the Lakers and over the Clippers. So they still have those black tarps that cover other professional teams that play there, except for the Kings. The Kings have relented and they do not put a black tarp up over the Lakers banners, the championship banners, the retired banners, the Kobe banner, all that other stuff.
No, you can't. You can't cover those. That's stupid.
They do it. They do it all the time. It's embarrassing.
I don't remember that. I went to a few games. I know I went there with Richards.
Yep.
And he got me, the pass down in the tunnel. You park with the players and all that.
Sure.
And everywhere you go underneath is Lakers.
Yeah. So, and there's no Clippers because they're moving, but yeah, it's, I found it odd. Like, why would the Kings give a shit about the Lakers banners? But I guess what had happened is back in the day, the Lakers came out and covered the Clippers and then they covered the Kings. And I can't figure out for the life of me why they would do that, but they did. And they had a pretty good pissing match. And I believe it was Luc Robitaille.
That's stupid. Like, if you go to a Toronto game, you can see the Raptors championship.
Right.
The 1967 Dusty championship, but you can see it.
Yep.
And the retired players. And I thought going to Kings games were pretty good. Richie said the ice was slow at times, but they maintained it at other times, and it was good. I think playoffs, they really try and concentrate. I mean, it's hot in LA, so you got to have your ice thing up high. I mean, it's probably tough.
It was a cool rink. It was chilly. Like, I was in a long sleeve shirt, but other people were bundled up that are not used to the cold. But it was the whole. LA has become so politically correct. It is an embarrassment, and I'll tell you right off the bat. So they come out and they sing the anthem. They only do the American anthem. They don't do both like Buffalo does, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. So, and they're doing their puck drop with Seth Rogen for ALS. So I was interested in that. And thinking about, the first TV break is about 8 minutes into the period. And out comes the fucking sausage fest of all sausage fests. These people came out and they were in They were wearing, it was all men. They were wearing silver zip up vests and these black shirts underneath, black pants. They all matched. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. There's no diversity. There's no men and women in it. It's all men, and they're shoveling the snow.
Okay,
And,
whoa, they don't have ice girls in LA?
Nope. No ice girls.
That should be a fine.
Yep. I mean, it was a sausage parade. And it was just, and I laughed. I laughed right out loud. And I had two people in front of me, two gentlemen from Washington. They couldn't believe it either. I mean, I get it. You don't want to, we're not selling sex. We're not doing this. But like, you don't have any diversity. You don't have like, anything. I was embarrassed by it all. And I couldn't believe it. The whole night was just sausage parade. It was sausage fest. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It was an embarrassment. And no girls.
Yeah,
so
that should be a fine. So what do you make? I read Corey Perry's statement just now.
Okay. Yeah.
You've read it. What do you make of it?
So so here's the deal is if you work here in the States and you're an alcoholic and you go to your boss and you say, I'm an alcoholic, you cannot lose your job if you seek therapy.
Yeah. If you want counseling. Help, you want, in Canada, it's the same thing.
Yep.
I had a few over the years come to me. And one we had to put into rehab. The other, I kind of had to turn a blind eye to the fact that drinking was the problem and fire them. But if they come to you, you got to help them. They can't lose their job. But of course, in this case, he didn't go to them. He caused a bunch of shit. Probably at some team function where a bunch of sponsors, or maybe he made a crack drunk to an employee. What we do know is it's not what the rumors were, and it's not illegal. So this is a sensitive team. Chicago probably overreacting a little bit because they're sensitive now because of the bullshit with the kid. So probably on another roster, this doesn't happen. He doesn't lose anything over this. He obviously needs a little help with the drinking.
Right.
But this is not going to preclude him from playing in the NHL.
He will be on an NHL roster by the end of the month. Well, by the end of December, I believe he'll be back. And that is just, I think, it's almost to the point of slander. I mean, Chicago, even though they bounced them, they have butchered this. This is, they let the kid's mom twist in the wind for a few days, still going on. And why didn't they just come out on when Davidson had his press conference? Why just come out and say, look, he's got an alcohol problem. We had to release him. What was the big secret? Like no offense, but big fucking deal. Like I get it. It's not legal. Okay. So it's not a legal matter. It's a team thing. Just say it. Hey, look, he got drunk. There was an incident. We let him go. No harm, no foul. We're going to fight not to pay him. And like anybody would. And because he did break their ethics clause or whatever it is. Fine. Why let it twist even in the wind even more? And it's like I said, it's not a legal thing. It's ethics and moral and stuff like that. This isn't like I can't even think of something like, and I get everybody should be treated fairly, but this isn't just anybody. This is a Stanley Cup champion. This is a multiple gold medalist for Canada, all-star, Rocket Richard trophy winner. This isn't just anybody. This isn't your fourth liner that you just bought out and he's going to go home to Saskatchewan. This is a fairly decorated future Hall of Famer that they did this to. This is, I still think the way they treated him was wrong. I think the way they treated Bedard's mom was wrong. I think that they are still doing a disservice there with everything. And okay, so let him go to rehab, bring him back, and then trade him. Like, okay, he's going to go to rehab. He's going to go get counseling. We're going to give him 30 days to dry out in Trembling Hills, and then trade him. I mean, you'll get some sort of value back.
They're not going to get Dick. I'm telling you right now, he'll sign.
Well, yeah, but
he's going to sign with someone for the playoffs.
Oh yeah, how long is he? Let me ask you this: when do you think he signs, and when do you think you'll see him on a roster? I know I said 30 days, but when do you see him coming back?
I think, honestly, probably January, February.
Yep.
And he'll keep his nose clean now.
Yeah, and I mean, and here's the other thing. I've witnessed Corey Perry off the ice a couple of different times in Aliso Viejo. And it was early in his career. It was 2008. And a little immature, to say the least. But, it's...
yeah, a lot of people have told me that I seen him play in Major Junior because he played against Adam Keefe, one of my clients. And he's a little shithead, but he was a good player.
Yep. Great player. Got a great set of hands. I just think that, I don't know. And you know what also bothers me? So since there was no adult relations with Bedard's mom, I mean, what is that like? And you've got Corey Perry's wife at home with kids. Like,
right now, even the fact that he caused this problem, whatever it was, whether he was inappropriate, drunk, or whatever he said to someone or whatever.
Yep.
She'll be pissed.
Oh yeah. She'll be pissed. But still though, I mean, the name dragging through the mud, it doesn't bode well. I mean, I hate to say it sounds better than what we originally thought, but it's still not great, but it's better. And I mean, I don't even know how you term that as I don't know how you term it as better, but it is.
I talked to a couple guys since this has happened, and they're saying basically if he was on another team, nothing would happen.
Right.
That's how, I don't want to say meaningless because I don't know the staff that this happened, how they felt or whatever, but a slap on the wrist could have handled this.
Exactly. That's what I mean, is that you just put them in the program. There's players always in the program. They're always floating in and out of it. And that's fine. That's what it's there for. I don't know if it's Lucic that it's there for, but it's there for that reason. I don't know why they didn't put him through the program. 45 days. You even said he's going to come back January, February. He'll be ready for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is that at least Chicago would have gotten an asset back, a late round pick, a mid round pick, eating 50% of the salary. Now they're going to look like idiots fighting for the salary, fighting not to pay him while he's getting help in recovery. And it does go both ways, but I will point to this. You mentioned this earlier. When the player goes to the franchise and says, I have a drinking problem, it's better.
Yeah,
well,
they have to help him.
Right, they have to. But Domingo Germán, who is with the Yankees, he's a little bit of a schmuck. So he's already been suspended for Lucic abuse, and he's been back now a couple of years. But he's kind of like, he's a loose cannon. And he came into the clubhouse one day on a Tuesday, drunk, hammered, knew he wasn't going to start, picked up a couch, threw over the couch, dumped the food trays, all this other stuff. And he was drunk. So the incident preceded the treatment. So the Yankees didn't release him. It was after the trade deadline. They didn't release him. They got him the help he needed. The asset that they would have acquired in a trade would have been minimal at best anyway. But the point I'm trying to make is that the incident preceded the treatment, and it would have been the same thing with Corey Perry. The incident would have preceded the treatment, and then they would have gotten some sort of value for him. Instead, Chicago just washed their hands. They're gonna look like assholes when they go to fight the $4 million salary.
They might get screwed on that.
Yep, I believe they will, and they should. They should get screwed on that because they mistreated this from the get-go. They have butchered this, absolutely butchered this. And it doesn't. What recourse do they have? Did you get the guy help? Nope. We just cut him loose. We cut the drunk loose is what it's going to look like, and it's too bad. We let our superstar, we let our franchise player, we let his mom twist in the wind, even after we said it wasn't. That grew legs, like you said. That was even worse.
Yeah, that's why you don't. Oh. That's why you do not handle it the way they handled it.
Yep.
You got. Yep. I know you don't want to tell everything, but you got to come out right from day one and go, look it. This is what it is. In today's basic society with social media so nuts, you can't let things just sort of hang.
Yep. And the cover-up...
It was handled brutally.
Brutal. And the cover-up is always worse than the original incident. Always. In most cases. But a cover-up... Like, I don't want to get into too much with Lucic, but the cover-up there would have been far worse than what originally happened. It's the same thing almost in anything, like you said. I do want to say this. The incident with Herman happened mid to late afternoon, and the Yankees could not make a comment about it because they could not reach the Players Association. They couldn't reach the Eiffel Tower, Tony Clark. They couldn't reach him, so they had to wait. But they went through all the proper protocols. They suspended him that day. And
the Bruins thing's simple. He got drunk.
Yeah.
So he's got drinking issue. He gets angry when he's drunk, which a lot of guys do.
Yep.
And it's probably something that's happened 100 million times with him and his wife. He got too rough, so she called on him, and then there's some regret. They probably both were drinking. They're going to stay together. Hopefully he gets a little help for his anger when he drinks. Or maybe he's got to stop drinking, one or the other.
Yeah.
But this isn't going to preclude him from playing. If he wants to play again, easily can.
Yeah. I've had friends in Boston say this is it with him. They've had other incidents where the police have been there, and she hasn't pressed charges. So he's got a lot of history there, and it's only with her.
Clearly, he's got a problem.
Right. Clearly, he has a problem. It's unfortunate that it's come to legal issues, but
you know what? No pun intended. He'll skate on those charges.
Yeah.
He'll just plead it out. I mean, I doubt very much anything will come from that, but yeah, I'm more concerned about the guy's wife and his kids. Like, get your shit together, man. He's a good player. I love him as a player. He's one of my favorite. I was hoping Toronto was going to grab him.
Yeah.
To change their man. I know Toronto made an offer, but I don't know. I can tell you what, Toronto could, that the other night, by the skin of their ass, with that little double tap video replay, the first period, I've never seen a team come in and just totally fuck with another team and just completely outclass them.
Right.
The second period was a bit of a clawback. That fourth liner, what's his name again?
Gregor.
Fuck, I like him. He's shown
Yeah.
a couple times. Quick feet, quick shot. He's physical. He you know. I had Sheldon blew up on the bench, and everybody was saying, "Well, about time." Sheldon gets hot behind closed doors. He doesn't like to do it in front of the media cameras.
Right.
But, like, anyone who thinks he's not ripping is wrong. He rips them. But he needs to do that more and stop putting up with fucking lackadaisical bullshit. Because that's what this team does. They play lackadaisical.
Yeah. I'll tell you. So 3 things about the Leafs the other night. So I'm watching it's on NHL Network, which means it's blacked out on my TV. It's blacked out on my ESPN package. So I'm watching it on an illegal bootleg, and I'm not going to mention it in the podcast.
They might be a good sponsor.
I'll tell you, they might be.
Seriously?
They should be. But I'll tell you what I did. So, the missus is coming home with groceries, right? So I'm watching the shootout. Rodriguez scores the goal, the double tap, and the second he threw his arms up, that's it. You know, I'm on a bootleg. I don't need to drain any more of my life. I turned it off. I did not know the Leafs won till about an hour later when I opened up my Instagram.
No,
like you got to be.
Yep,
like you got to be fucking kidding me.
I wonder
like,
how
are
many
you?
People did that.
Well, I mean, you know, down here in the States, they send you these warnings. You know, like, are you watching cable illegally? You know, that's all on the billboards and everything else, and the pop-ups and everything else. So the second I always think that schmuck from the FBI is standing outside my doorstep ready to, put me in handcuffs for watching the Leafs and the Panthers.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. Now, the bigger issue for me right now, I mean, their defense now is just dire straits. You know what? Somebody says, I don't know if God damn, give up Robertson a pick, whatever, get Tanev in the roster now. Then deal with the rest at the deadline or towards the deadline. But you need to fix this. You could fall out of a playoff spot with that defense. Yep.
And Giordano's out. He's got a broken hand. He's going to be out a few days.
Yeah, he broke his finger. He'll be out 2 weeks with that. You better, you know what? This is shit or get off the pot time.
Yeah.
They're not,
do you want to make the playoffs or not?
They're not good enough to just sort of run it. Like, it won't work.
Brutal. It's like, do you want to make the playoffs or not? It's like, the players do, the coach does, the assistant coach is goalie coach, video coach, whatever.
I'll give. If they don't do it, they're gonna fall out. But I'll give Marner credit. He took that shot in the face, missed the period, threw a cage on, came back out. He played a little better, actually. Maybe he felt more protected with that on.
I was just about to say that. You know why he felt better? Because he's not going to get hit. He looked like, let me tell you what he looked like.
Hockey days, he lit it up with the cage on, right?
Well, you're right. But he looked like excuse me. He looked like a 14-year-old kid skating in his dad's men's league team because they got a B on his report card, and that was his award. Like, he got to wear the cage, and he was tougher with the cage. He should leave it on. He's never going to hit anybody. He's never going to butcher anybody. He's never going to get into a fight. Leave the cage on for crying. And then what fucking killed me? Like, you're in the shootout, and he's wearing the cage in the shootout. What the fuck could hit you in the mouth during the shootout? Why are you wearing that? I don't know why. First of all, I don't know why the NHL doesn't have the players no helmets in the shootout. I don't know. It would market the game. Like, okay, I can see the the hair and everything else. And if they got to wear a helmet, great. Like Bertuzzi probably have to wear a helmet because he's got the moulet going. But still, no helmet in the shootout would be great. Nope, they got the helmets on, and what fucking kills me is they got the visor on too. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Why are you wearing a visor in a shootout? What could possibly come up and hit you in the eye? Nothing. I can't handle it. But yeah, Mitch Marner did play a little bit better, and they jumbled up the lines, and I don't know what they're gonna do.
If they don't get some
Sorry.
D, I mean,
yeah, they're smoked.
We're joking around. They don't have a chance to win a round with the defense. They won't have a chance to get in if they don't get some D.
They will be wild card at best. The
one positive is the Wall kid was unreal.
The Wall kid looked good. I got to give him that.
Did you see Tkachuk run Wall?
I did.
And nobody touched him. And then Tkachuk pointed at the Leaf guy saying, "Oh, you shoved me, you shoved." This is what Tkachuk does.
Yep.
Figure it the fuck out, man. Like, do something. They are so embarrassing with that type of stuff. It's beyond. I can't deal with it. Like, it's just horrendous.
Yep. And there's no other player. Excuse me. There's no other player in the league like it. It's both of them. Both Tkachuks.
I love Tkachuk. I thought what he did was great. Wall's playing great. He tries to shake him up. That's what you want. But no goddamn Leaf did a thing.
Yeah. Wow. What did you think of Paul Maurice's comments after the game? Did you see any of that or not really?
Yeah, I seen it. He's a smart ass. I like Maurice, so I mean, you can't argue. He's got that team. They play in your face, man.
Yep.
Maurice always works the media, right? Like a fiddle. He knows how to do it.
Yep. Oh, yeah. He's something. Okay, so one other thing that you asked me about the other day, and we had to get away from it. You asked me about Chapman going to the Yankees. You remember that?
Yeah, well, are you going to be upset that Ohtani's leaving Anaheim for Toronto?
Well, we all know Ohtani's leaving Anaheim because Artie Moreno is he's just horrible.
Yeah,
he's just one of the most despicable human beings.
For the Blue Jays' sake, I hope he doesn't go 20 minutes down the street.
Yeah.
Because Toronto's full court pressing him, man.
Do you think he's going to go to Toronto?
No, I don't think so. But I know they for sure are full court pressing him. He likes their training facilities, both in Florida and Toronto. I want to put a lot of money into that stuff. But I don't think that's enough to get this guy.
Are you going to be upset if Chapman leaves too?
No, I'm not a big Chapman guy. He's a better third baseman than he is hitter.
Yeah.
I think the Blue Jays could be in trouble. There's not a lot of options. Probably going to have to make some trades. Because the Toronto fans are really bitter, eh?
Yeah. Well, one of the trades that I hear out here is Bichette going to the Dodgers for Gavin Lux and a pitching prospect.
Yeah, I'd be pissed if they did that.
Yeah. And the other trade rumor we hear is since the Mets are fumbling with Pete Alonso, it's Alonso and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Switching teams with the Mets and the Blue Jays. And the Mets just signed Vladdy Jr.'s brother. So
the Guerrero thing wouldn't bother me as much because I think he had one unreal year when he finished runner-up to Ohtani.
Yeah.
And I think every other year he's just been really good. He's a really good player, but he's not a superstar.
Right.
And they think he is, or they're hoping he was going to, and he's not. And he has brain farts on the bases like you see in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He does, and then he has terrible at bats at time. I mean, in key moments, I could care less they trade him, but Bouchette's their best player.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's their bread and butter. My other thing with Guerrero, and it does lead to something that you definitely have a background in. For 2 or 3 years, Guerrero has come out and said, I would never pitch in New York, or I would never play in New York. I would never be a Yankee. I would never do this. I would never do that. What do you think about a player that comes out and says that, but that's where he would make the most money is New York?
Well, that's it, right? And that's why the Yankees used to just outbid everybody, but they also run a pretty goddamn good organization. You can't argue it.
They do. I mean, how many other than actual trades when the Yankees make a trade, they know what they're getting. They're not getting like a end of the career. I know Donaldson's he was a little long in the tooth, but they knew what they were getting, and they were hopeful for a bounce back this year from him. They didn't get it. They got rid of him. My issue is that they know what they're doing. They don't like if the players that the Yankees acquire, trade, free agent, waivers, whatever, if they did their job what they did earlier in their careers, they'd be fine. I mean, even if Stanton hit 45 home runs instead of 20, great. He's not going to hit 60.
Who's the GM? Cashman?
Cashman, he's been there since 97.
So he knows the game, obviously.
He knows the game. He knows the media, and everybody. Oh, you got to get rid of Cashman. You got to get rid of no. The guy they make the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs, very rare. I'd like to know this fact: how many years have they missed the playoffs in consecutive? I don't think they've missed it more than twice, and they have been over 500 for the last 33 seasons. Over 500. So you're talking 82 wins in each of the last 34 seasons, and they're in the playoffs. They're in the hunt.
Now, do you want Chapman to go there?
No. We have enough infielders. We probably have one too many. And they're talking about what to give up for Soto and down here in San Diego. And God, I would be pissed if they sold the farm for 1 year of that clown. If they got a 10-year extension out of him, that would be great. But he's already turned down $440 million from Washington. And the Yankees are like, oh my gosh, we're going to have to give him $500 million. You're not. He turned down $440 million in Washington. He didn't turn down $440 million in pinstripes. Big difference. It's kind of like Ohtani. The Blue Jays are going to.
The Yankees aren't bidding for him.
So they kind of are, and they kind of are not. I mean, Cashman has this thing where when you're a free agent, you circle back to the money. Like if your wife is from Seattle and you want your kids are wanting to go to Seattle, you're going to go to Seattle, then you're not going to circle back to the Yankees. But this guy has no ties in the States. He has no ties in Toronto, and he's looking for the money. I mean, get out of the way. The Yankees have the most money. And it's amazing what not having a tie to any city or state does for a player. I last podcast we talked a little bit about the Yankees and their monies and stuff, but Artie Moreno, who owns the Angels, every home game that Ohtani started as a pitcher was an additional $1 million in his pocket, $1 million. And it was for tickets. Oh yeah, it was ticket sales. It was concessions. It's parking. It's advertising. because they're at the games that the Angels own the rights. The Major League Baseball and the Angels, they own those rights. And since the Angels are not in a tiered luxury tax like the other teams, they're going to generate more money out of the TV revenue. So he was pulling a lot of money off of the cable games going to Tokyo. It's a big thing. When Tanaka was with the Yankees, it was the same thing. When Matsui was with the Yankees, it was the same deal. Even going back to Hideki Irabu, when he was with the Yankees, his starts in Japan were colossal. It was like they said it was like the Super Bowl in Tokyo because everything stopped. Like the TVs in the streets and everything else, they all stopped. You all watched Arabu or you watched Matsui and Tanaka. So Otani is a level or two above every player I just named. He is. If you signed him for $60 million, if you're the Yankees, and I'll even throw in Toronto with this, and I'll throw in LA, if they signed him for $60 million, the tax for the Yankees and the Dodgers is going to be $80 million combined with the salary. They're going to pay $20 million for the luxury tax, but they're going to make money back on the Dodgers and Yankees especially. They're going to make so much, and maybe Toronto too, but they're going to make so much money coming back. It's filthy. You're talking about jerseys, shirts, hats. You're talking, and it's not just at the stadium. It's 6,000 miles away in Tokyo.
That's what the Toronto media keeps talking about.
Oh, they'll make their money back, Dave. I'll tell you right now, if the Blue Jays signed Otani and he's going to DH all next year, he's going to pitch the following year, and it's his second Tommy John.
What position does he play?
He's a pitcher. He's a DH. He'll be a DH.
So in Anaheim, he only is ever a DH or pitcher?
Yep.
I thought he played center. Why did I thought he played field?
Nope.
So he's only a DH. So you're only paying him to hit.
You're only paying him to hit. But the thing is that I remember he can hit. And I remember Sky Dome. I remember Rogers Center. And there's 50,000 seats in that stadium. I'm telling you right now, if he went to the Blue Jays, every seat would be a season ticket sellout. Oh yeah. And you know what the sad thing is? The Dodgers, it might be, but Toronto, more than any other franchise in Major League Baseball, would sell out every game. Oh my gosh. They would be making money like whores. Oh my gosh. They'd make so much money. And Anaheim was the same. I was at, I think it was a couple years ago. I was at an Otani start and they were playing the Yankees. And it was a sellout. And I'm looking around and I'm like, it's gotta be because of the Yankees. And it kind of was. The Yankees on the road, just like Toronto and just like the Leafs and the Habs, all the Canadian teams actually, they travel well. They travel well in the Sun Belt here. But I was amazed at the Japanese and Asian culture within Anaheim Angel Stadium. It was like the ads are in Japanese, and you could tell that they're selling this somewhere. It wasn't just the ballpark. Once you're in the ballpark, they don't sell a fucking thing. Once you buy the ticket, that's it. But once you're if you're watching it on cable or anything like that, It's a huge, huge thing here. And but yeah, what do you think the chances of him actually going to Toronto though?
Maybe he wants to grow his audience to Canadian. It's all when you sign in Toronto, you're signing for a country,
Right?
so it is different. But I mean, George Springer got huge dough, and he's on commercials everywhere down here. I like Springer. I just think he wasn't. I never thought he was going to be the longevity.
Yeah, he's a Connecticut kid, I think, and he's
he
don't
really struggled last year.
You know, he I think you're right about something. Now, are the Blue Jays big even in Vancouver?
Oh fuck, everywhere. They truly are the country's team. Like, it's crazy how big it is.
I'll tell you right now, if that's the case, that if the Blue Jays were smart, they would offer him $10 million more than any other club because they will make that.
Hey, listen, they've backed the Brinks truck up, and plus, Toronto can offer you a lot of extras because of the culture, right?
Right.
I think Yakuchi is from Otani's hometown or something, right?
Yeah,
they went to the same school, and so he went in on the meeting, which would help. We're gonna find out if the guy likes to be really warm. Because if he doesn't want to be cold, he's gonna stay.
Yeah, I
now granted, it's a summer sport, so
right,
and it's a dome.
Yep.
So I guess you're never cold, but
right, and the hitting in Sky Dome, which is I know it's Rogers, but it's a hitter's ballpark. The ball's going to carry there, and Judge hits them out all the time there. So I don't know. My every person in sports knows he's going to the Dodgers, but if you got Toronto putting in a full press, the Yankees haven't done theirs yet. I don't think he's going to San Francisco. I don't think he's going to Seattle. I don't think he's going to the Cubs, the Cardinals. He's not going to San Diego. San Diego's in a lot of trouble there with the cable and the everybody going under with Roots Sports and stuff like that. But I don't know. There's one wild rumor that Tampa was going to make a run at Ohtani, and
he wouldn't go there in a million years.
No, he won't go. He won't go. That place is just a dungeon. I can't believe it. Yeah. So getting back to the Leafs, yeah, they're in just as much